Ejay'S podcast. Let's go. Welcome to Ejay'S podcast. On this episode, I'm with two young men that are well traveled, various experiences, been to different places, and knowledge of so many things. And today, they'll be sharing with us some of their journeys. On my right, I have
Joshua.
Mr. Joshua, or Joshua as you want to be called. And on my left, okay, Chuku. Okay, well known as okay. Before we get started, I would like to ask our audience, what do you think is the ideal age for a young man to travel abroad alone, without any family members or loved ones with him? What's an ideal age? We know about the women, we've spoken about this before, but for a man, a young man, what is an ideal age that is suitable or will be right for a young man to travel abroad alone? Before we get started, I'd like for you to give your opinion on this. What's an ideal age that you think a young person should travel?
Personally, I believe from the age of 18, you are old enough to leave your parents' house. So 18 years, as soon as you turn 18, I think you can travel outside the country on your own. And even before that, I think it's common here in Europe for students, to travel abroad and live with someone else, another family. That's one I don't know if I can allow it for my kids. But 18 years.
And some will argue that I think as an African, 18 years is probably not ideal. Because as an African at 18, who was raised in Africa, in Nigeria to be precise, at 18, you're still finding it very difficult to find your balance. You're not even mature. I don't think you've achieved that state of maturity. What do you think, okay?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that we take time to get to that level of maturity and independence in our culture. Like if you compare to the Western countries, where when they get to the age of 18, they start working.
Yeah, they're already independent.
They're already working, which really helps them in their journey of getting independent. But for us, already at 18, you're still just maybe getting into the university and you're still under the support of your parents for a really long time. It could get into your late 20s or depends on how.
I think that's really the problem because we don't get independent too early. So it takes a while to get to that stage.
Well, I definitely think that the factors that affect that is as a result of how our economy is. So there are not a lot of jobs that parents can really allow their kids to go
at that young age. That age.
If you check most European countries or other Western countries, there are really cool jobs, normal jobs, like
basic, simple jobs
at the shops, and you're paid properly. Maybe it's not a high salary, but you get normal wages, which is not really the same situation in our own country. So parents tend to hold back their kids.
I don't want to put them.
For me, I don't think those things work. I don't think at the age of 18, parents still holding back kids is because at the age of 18, you are going to be. You already know what to do and what not to do.
You're grown enough to differentiate.
If your parents are now like telling you can't be doing this, you can't be doing this, and I have friends in school that are doing it. I have, you start building up your own confidence. You have all those things, and you at the age of 18, kids tend to be rebellious against towards their parents.
This is the age of
So I believe before your children turn 18, you should have nurtured them properly. And at the age of 18, I think you should just sit, watch them,
let them
manifest what you've trained, and you can also talk to them, advise them, but holding them back at home, not allowing them go out there and expose themselves to the
I think this is a cultural thing because I don't think our culture allows that, because at the age of at my age now, I still go home and I still have a coffee of 10 o'clock.
For me, it's the same thing for me.
Imagine if at this age you still have a curfew of a certain time to be at home and all of that. Imagine an 18-year-old you know.
Yeah, and we have that respect thing.
Yeah, so it's a cultural thing.
I think when I talk about holding back, it's not like, you're chained.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of tools that parents use to hold you back.
Sure.
They're taking care of you, you're living under their roof, So it's always like, well, if you're living under my roof, you have to follow my rules. You know, and when you think about being rebellious, you have to think
about, are you able to take care of yourself? Yeah.
You know, can I put a roof over my own head?
True.
You think about all those things and
I left home at the age of 18. That was the first time I traveled outside Nigeria.
Yeah.
At the age of 18. So I moved to study my bachelor's degree, and for me, I was doing fine. I'm not going to say I was the best kid, or I was the.
But I have to ask, how hard was it for your parents to let go?
Was it hard? They were happy.
They were happy.
I was living in the country for the
Well,
first time.
Yeah, but I mean, at the age of 18, see, I left at 16 and a half.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying completely. But I would imagine, like, probably 90% of parents will be traumatized to have their 18-year-old African parents, of course.
Well, personally, I also left at 18, a little bit above 18. This is the interesting thing. When they let you go abroad, especially to Europe, they have this maybe sense of like, well, you're safe,
fine.
nothing is ever going to happen.
You're not going to be in any trouble or whatever.
Now, they had that mindset when I was 18. If I step into Nigeria today,
it's a reverse. It's not
the reverse of the case. You know, they like.
They're not calling, checking you every now.
6 p.m.
Like, where are you?
Where are you? It's already getting dark.
Yeah.
You know, they are more, worried when you are in
that
environment. So it's
so it's a thing of
Still have situations where, like, for me, when I first left, almost 3 times a day my mom calls, like, Joshua, how are you?
I think that's definitely the case.
They want to call you on
Skype.
Skype.
Check, make sure that you're doing fine every
I
moment.
had this funny moment that after about 2-3 weeks after I left Nigeria, so I had this haircut,
Yeah, stylish.
My parents called me and they saw it. Like, Joshua,
what are you doing?
And my mom was even praying over the phone. Like, Joshua, please don't join back there.
Well,
I think there's a cultural thing with a lot of Africans and all that.
My parents aren't really that call you every day. It could be like something
even at the age that you left, they were
like it could just be on Sundays. But the thing was that when I left, I moved from Nigeria to Ukraine to study. My eldest brothers were there. I have 2 elder brothers, so they were already living there. So it wasn't like I was just going there alone. So they knew I was going to stay with my brothers.
So they also had a sense of safety.
Maybe when my brothers moved, they also moved at young ages in their teenage years. So I maybe they probably called, maybe a few more times, but still not so much. My parents are not the kind of people that call
my parents, they call me on Monday because we have Bible study at church on Monday. They call me after Bible study like, Joshua, did you follow the Bible study?
Have you prayed? Have you done all
They
these?
call me on Thursday. They call me on Sunday. How was church today? They call me.
To make sure that you're following your regular routine.
Well, after like 2 months now.
It's fine.
I know it's because I was leaving home for the first time and they were like, that's 18 years old.
But I mean, it's young. I left a little earlier, like I said, but still, I would think that, the process of coming to an agreement of leaving at that age has to be quite hectic for the parents. Letting their son go. Of course, you said something about the sense of security, that you're going to be fine, but still, as a parent, letting your child, your son of 18, leave the continent to another continent to pursue education, that has to be something I think difficult.
Yeah, now, if I was to become a parent, and with the whole experience I've had living in Europe in the past 9 years, I think I would be worried. I would definitely not have the same mindset that my parents had. Of course, I still, even me personally, I think that it's still safer, in the Western country. If I went to Nigeria now, even without my parents telling me, I think at 6 I would be inside.
to speak to that, that's for security reasons.
So I'd still be inside. So yeah, like thinking about it now, but then now I know that Europe is not as safe as we think it is. kids can be kidnapped still.
There's a lot of
cases of human trafficking and all that.
All of that, yeah.
So I think I would still really think about it.
Well, it depends on the country.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, of course, the countries vary.
Yeah, exactly.
But moving to a country like Ukraine at 18 must be very challenging. Where did you move to?
Mine was the former Yugoslavia.
So the same region, basically.
Of course, but you know,
back home, that's
back home, Europe is Europe. You're traveling abroad.
Yeah, but it must be. I mean, to go to areas like that, you know, at that age, it must be challenging. What are the challenges that you faced? You know, especially like the first year or the first couple of months.
I really didn't face many challenges.
So you like fitted in like right away?
Like foreign students that came the same way I came. 3 years from, you know, some students have been going there for the past 3 years.
Okay.
And they were already grounded. They already got used to the society.
Okay, so there's a platform already for like foreign students.
So I just came there
into
and
the mix.
continued with the whole. So it wasn't that difficult. The only barriers I had was language barriers. And fortunately for me, I was attending a school that's
didn't require the local
it was
language.
just English everywhere. I speak English at home. I speak English at school, and that's it.
So it didn't require. What about you?
Well, as I already mentioned, my elder brothers were already living there.
So family tie basically.
Yeah, and we had also a lot of family friends who were studying, and then there was really a huge Nigerian community.
Okay.
Outside the Nigerian community, there was also a huge African community in that city. So I think in the case of Ukraine, it depends on which city you move to. You could move to some city and there is absolutely no one. You really don't.
But you're used to the cold, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's equally cold.
Yeah, it was.
It
was really cold. I remember there was this mistake. I think almost everyone
makes when they go together.
So it's like you're outside for the first time and your fingers are frozen.
Yeah.
And then
you
get
go
home,
to the hot water.
You
try to kill yourself suddenly. I think you learned that over there.
I'm not sure there is.
You learned that after the first experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's something that it's best learned when you experience it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when someone tells you that, you're like, why should it be like that? But
then you experience it and then you have a change of mind.
I had this experience in Egypt.
Huh.
It was even in Egypt.
It wasn't even that cold yet.
It was like 14 degrees.
Which is still cold.
So I was supposed to go to the embassy and left the airport. Went out, it was so cold. And my dad had sent this big jacket. And like, Joshua, wear this. Well, I wore the jacket and I was moving out. I was going to the embassy and this guy saw me.
What is wrong with you?
What's going on? I have to ask though, you know, traveling that young and all that, you know, going to school, how do you manage schooling and also trying to make ends meet, like a side hustle and stuff like that? You know, being of that age, who's not been, you know, coming from a place where you were under your parents, no sense of independence whatsoever, and coming abroad, going to school and then trying to, you know, get a side hustle.
Yeah, well, so I think my life outside Nigeria has been in two phases.
Different,
and Finland. And in Ukraine it was different because there was really no job. So even before moving, it was already clear that.
So you knew that you couldn't work there and all
my
that.
My parents took care of everything for the 4 years. But while I was doing my bachelor's, I was always thinking that, well, I'm living here after 4 years. I'm going to do my master's somewhere else, and I want to be independent.
Able to work and earn a living
for myself.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for the parents I have because like they've really supported me all the way. So, but I thought, well, it would be nice to you know, relieve that burden from them. You know,
take responsibility.
Take responsibility of myself and actually learn what it feels like
to be independent.
And you know, I think it's different when you make your own money and how to spend it.
You
it's
definitely
really
more careful with.
So that was one plan I had for that 4 years. Like I knew that I'm living here, and hopefully wherever I go, I'm going to find a job. So that was one of the reasons why. Even from my second year in Ukraine, I already had a short list of countries I wanted to move to.
Go.
The interesting thing was that Finland had always been in the picture, even before I moved to Ukraine.
You already had a plan, yeah.
I was going to move to Finland because my eldest brother, who they had been in Ukraine 3 years before I came there, he had already traveled Europe, and he was part of this youth organization called European Youth Parliament.
Okay.
So he was traveling across Europe. He had been to Finland a few times, and then he discovered that studying in Finland was free. So he told my dad about it. He told me about it, and he was like, "Yeah, it would be better for you to
go there."
To go there. So we tried. When I was trying to get into uni, we tried to. I wrote the English exams, but there was back then you needed to have your original certificate to get to the Finnish universities, and I didn't have it there because it took a few years to come. So I couldn't take up that Finland option in the beginning, so I had to go to Ukraine. But even then, my brother was still hoping that maybe after one year,
make that transition at some point. Yeah.
But after the first year, we realized that maybe it's not possible now. So maybe I just finish and
then you try to push
move. So yeah, Finland had been in the picture, but after a while, I had friends who were applying to Finland to do their masters, and nobody got the admission. It felt like it's so difficult. It's very complicated. So somehow I forgot about it, and so I had options like Germany, France, Austria, and Finland was really the last
option.
It was actually last minute because I applied 10 days before the deadline, and I can tell you that I changed my mind about the application twice, and I had a friend and a teacher convinced me even at the last minute to apply because I wanted to leave it. I was like, it's South Finland. It wasn't really in my plan, but somehow it turned out to be the option I chose at the end.
And
so
there you got it.
and I don't have any regrets about that.
What's your experience, Josh?
Well, for me, after I was lucky to get a full scholarship in former Yugoslavia. So, and the scholarship covered my tuition fees, covered my welfare.
I'll see why the parents won't have any problem sending you because they don't have to sweat.
So it's I was getting free food morning, afternoon, and evening, and I was going to the school for free, and they were getting paid. I was getting paid every month. Every month.
Yeah.
So.
Lucky you.
Well, yeah. So
it was easy for my.
It was easy for my parents. It was easy for me.
For you as well.
And the only thing I had to do was
go to classes and
sleep and go to school. Yeah.
So how have you been how have you been able to transition now from that level of getting all the full scholarship to now being your own man, where you have to take responsibility for yourself?
I've always been eyeing the responsibility part while I was there because I was like, oh boy, this money is too small.
You want to do more?
I want to make more money. So it's been something I've wanted to do because I'm like, this money, they were paying us about close to €100 a month.
Nah, this is not it.
I had friends then that were lots of money
more,
in countries like USA and UK, and I was like, my friends are even driving cars.
Yeah, I want to hear with €100.
I want to move. So, as soon as immediately I moved over to Finland, I was just eyeing places where I had to get something and start doing something. And so I was ready mentally before
talking about that, you both are gentlemen who are by yourself and all that. What do you think the disadvantage? So let's talk about the advantages first. So being alone, being able to earn this money and cater to yourself financially without any responsibility as such.
Well, yeah, I think there is a huge advantage to that because, while there is the advantage, the other thing is do you have the wisdom and understanding to manage it and not just spend the money on frivolities.
Actually, sorry, before you go, I actually always, picture it that I wish that the guys who don't have a family yet, I wish they will understand the power of, really managing the finances now, because once you start a family, it's a totally different.
We're discussing posting something like
that
yesterday,
for you know.
like,
It's gonna be a totally different
I wish I
situation.
could live 2 years ago again.
Yeah, so that you know, like,
But it's not too late, but I wish I could live that life again.
Yeah, because
I know where I would be if I managed finances very well. I know where I would be right now. So
it's very essential because then, like, you know, for someone like me, we all made that mistake of like not thinking about, you know, 5 years from now and all of that. So you like just living for the moment. But I think it's always essential to.
Yeah, I think in the beginning when like I think in Finland I spent like 8 months before I got any kind of job. So in the beginning I had like just a couple of hours job a day.
Yeah.
And it was still like I went from 0 to like I think the first pay was maybe 300 euros and I think that was like a couple of weeks job or a week job. Yeah. I was like, whoa, euros in my account. Like euros.
You were thrilled.
So yeah, like I was like next thing I did, recently I've read this quote a lot of times that expenses rise to meet income. Mm-hmm. So like in the beginning it was like I just go to Lidl, buy exactly what I need, the chicken I need, and I was fine. Immediately I got money, I was like, whoa. I went online, I went on Spot Direct.
Start shopping for all
I need a shoe. All of a sudden, I thought I was fine, but now I need a shoe.
Yeah.
I need a shoe, I need a sweater, I know all those stuff.
Spot Direct. More expensive. You could go to H&M and get cheaper shoes.
So, like, it's just stupid, really, because, I mean, you were fine before, and then now you just need to, live flashy. So, and then from there, like, just all of a sudden, I started earning, like, a little more than that, and I was like, whoa. Even though now I would think, like, well, that's just not much. Yeah. But going from 0,
it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot, and I don't have any responsibility. I don't have to take care of anyone. So it's like you just have in your account certain amount of money, and you're like, oh, what can I do with this? It would be wise if then, like, someone told me like, hey, you could buy a land. Like,
you could start doing something.
Yeah, you should invest. You're not too young. We have this mindset that maybe we could start doing those things
later on,
late 20s.
That you're not in a rush and all that.
Yeah,
you're still young.
You're still young. So
for me, I don't even see why a new student like coming over, you start earning money. I don't see why you need to move from your student apartment to a new apartment. Which is one of the it's one of the
misplaced priority, like
people,
sort of like
once they start getting maybe €1,000, they move from the shared apartment
and then to like a single
studio.
And that actually brings me to the question that I wanted to ask you. Do you think this has to do with peer pressure? Do you, as student, single man, do you have any, like, in the society, do you think there's like,
I think it depends on the environment you find yourself in.
So in an environment like this, do you think there's
I think it's just misplaced priorities, right? Because people want
there's not that much peer pressure. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you feel that there's no more.
Because I asked that because on the previous episode we were talking about peer pressure, of course, in a marital aspect. But I just wonder that you were saying that people move from shared apartments and all that once they start earning a certain amount of money. Do you think this happens because you look all those guys were at school? It has to do. I'm sure.
And you seem to think like, maybe I'm at a different level now.
I should climb that ladder.
Your apartment needs to meet that level. The car you drive,
owning a car and all that. So you guys actually experience that as well.
That was why I mentioned that if I could live that life,
you have done a lot of
better. Of course, many people were saying it, but Joshua, you are still very young.
Don't do this.
I'm like, oh, you told your story.
That's one of the biggest problems, that these things we're saying now, some people have told us this, and don't do this, don't get this, or for example, don't get a credit card. You don't need it. Don't get a credit card. But then you say, well, I can manage and all that, and then you get it, and before you know it, and whatever you spend all the now
you're in debt now.
And then you start when you're in that debt or whatever, or you grow a bit older, and you learn from the experience. I think I should have listened and not, and then now, when, for example, I advise someone who, is probably younger or who is still planning to come, and they don't really take it serious.
They don't because they look at you and they're like, nah, you can't be advising.
That's actually, from what he has just said, if we, I think that's like a good answer to the question you asked in the beginning, whether it's early to leave. Because now, it's only been 1 year and a half, and I can understand very well how to manage your money very well,
yeah.
how to, financial management.
Yeah.
So, if you leave very early, you get to live that life very early. But if you leave
Later.
your parents' house at the age of 20, because trust me,
you still have to go through that process.
you
have to make the mistake.
You have to make that
This is very true.
You
really need to learn from your own mistakes.
Yeah, God helping you, you learn. You say,
learn quicker. Yeah, some people learn
right
faster
now.
than others. That's true.
You also hope you don't make a mistake that you can't recover.
That you cannot come back. I think a lot of people do make this mistake. Like people fall into huge debts that end up, there's a case of a friend who was talking to me over the week about a certain student who had come and then, loaned the money to build a house or whatever back home, which is insane. But people do make this mistake. I'm going to ask this very important question before we close out. As African men, Nigerian men to be precise, do you have, because we've spoken about this before in the previous episode, is it important for you or mandatory for you to eventually, at the point of picking a partner, to pick from your home country? How important is this for you? Do you think, okay, well, I'm a Nigerian and my culture requires this and this is what I'm going to do? Or are you open to the idea of like, no, I live here. If I find love here, it's fine here?
Well, this is actually quite interesting because it's something I thought a lot about. And when I thought about the cultural differences, I thought, do I have the strength to fight through? Because that's
the strength to fight through.
Yeah,
it's a fight for you.
If you say there's absolutely nothing wrong with dating someone or marrying someone from a different culture or different race or country, as long as you know what you're getting into, as long as you understand that
you have the capacity to
that
carry on.
You guys are coming from two different cultures. You don't expect the person to act the way your people are.
It's a totally different.
So you think about all this. There are like a lot of these issues that you have to think about. And when I thought about it, I was like, well, I'm not sure I'm strong enough.
You're built for that.
I'm built for
so
that.
you think you would rather stick to your own culture? That would be, for your own personality, that would be a lot easier.
Yeah, in my perspective, I think it's a lot easier because then, I think in relationship there are a lot of challenges you have to go through. So yeah, I think if I can rule out that one,
that's one of the most important. Yeah. I mean, I like your honesty because personally, I actually went through that route as well. Yeah. I wasn't sure if I'll be able to deal with the cultural differences, the whole mixing. So I decided that I'll probably go with what I know. Yeah. The devil that I already know. Not calling the woman the devil, but it's easier to do it. But Josh, what do you think? Cultural difference and all of that.
I'm a very cultural oriented person, and I'm principled. And everything comes from my background. Yeah. Of course, once we do some culture, I'm trying to do away with, and try to. But I believe in openness. Yeah, it's good for people to be open.
Yeah.
You can get married to anybody, but there are some things I would want in my marriage that it's going to be easier to get from my own.
So we can say that we shouldn't be expecting any mixed babies from me, though.
If I find someone that's ready.
Okay, so you're still open to that?
No, I'm open to getting married to anybody, but it's going to be difficult.
Okay, because with your expectation.
If I find someone that's ready to accept me for who I am, which is going to be difficult.
Which you are sounds very scary, but
then fine. Because I'm not ready to compromise some of my
your beliefs and culture.
Not really beliefs, some things I would love to have, some
African yeah. Okay, I know where you're going. So you want a wife who's gonna be in the kitchen cooking?
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, well, in case you're saying that, I can assure you that your partner is nowhere around here.
That's not what I said.
Because as African men, we always want that idea. You know, I had that idea also, even though I'm married to an African woman with the whole thing. But I can tell you, as long as you live in this part of the world, it's a totally different ball game.
No, it's
they cannot instill the African cultures. It doesn't work.
It's not like I want a wife that would always stay in the kitchen. That's not what I said.
No, not always.
I want somebody that's able to do things like that, like someone that's able to cook something, my cultural food.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't know where you're going with this, but would you want your wife to work? I mean, if you
Of course.
Are you okay? I don't want to bombard you with a question,
No,
but then there is something that you say. I'm getting something from you. Are you gonna be the African man who says, "Listen, I'm gonna take responsibility of the household. I don't want my wife to do too much."
No, I would want her to work, but I would want to be able to take responsibility of the household, like to a big extent.
Okay, so you want to take
like that's
major
what
part of
but
the
it's
responsibility.
not like that might not be reality.
Yeah, it might not be. Yeah.
If I'm to choose, if I'm to pick, that okay, is this what you want? I would want to be the one responsible
to take more
for
majority share.
of
Yeah.
it. So,
do you share the same opinion?
Well, I think whatever the case is, the responsibility, at least for me, I say like taking care of the home as my responsibility. But we know that in reality, the woman also supports. Like I come from a family where both of my parents have really good jobs, and being able to get to where we got to, or for them to raise us and give us what we were able to get, it was because both of them had good jobs.
Yeah, so they were able to combine it.
So I think, I'm sure that my wife...
So was it 50-50?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. But I think...
I don't think not of our generation, but I don't think our parents, I don't think they will ever be on the level of 50-50.
But I can tell you that like,
it's quite huge.
A lot of times...
My father will definitely not take it.
Actually, a lot of times when there are some situations that needs like a lot of money, and my dad, of course, as we said, responsibility always falls on the man. He's always thinking it's heavy on him. But my mom has always been the one that is pushing, like, we can do this. We can do this. All of my siblings, all of us studied abroad, and they paid all these fees. And I can tell you that I'm not sure it would have been possible if my mom wasn't supportive, didn't push. Because
it was the same. I think the same situation with me as well. The mother. She might not be chunking out the majority part of the money, but she actually does the heavy push to be able to provide all.
So I think it's I think even in these days now, like everyone wants to have a career outside the family, and I'm in total support of that. Like you need to do other things outside family. And
sounds like the next generation of our African men is gonna be an exciting one. Looks like you guys are very.
Yeah, we are going to try to match this with the African mentality.
But I mean, with everything that's been said, I can still not see any mixed babies coming from both of you, because you sound like men who have very strong opinions and of minds.
But there are some people, there are some African men that got married to foreigner, and the foreigners.
Yeah, well, it depends on whoever you're dealing with, but it depends on who you're dealing with. It depends on their readiness, to be very honest. So you never.
I think the main reason for me thinking this is actually the principles we will use to raise our kids. That's where my own.
Wait, so I mean, we should be rounding up. But then, if you say that, so you will be of the opinion that if, for example, you end up with a finished lady or finished woman, so you would want your kids to take of your cultural heritage before hers.
So that's the issue, because I don't want to be selfish.
But I understand why you're running away from it. But would that make sense though? With the fact that you live here, the culture here, these kids are gonna. I can understand if you're with them in Nigeria and Africa to say they have to go. They have to go up actually with the Nigerian or African culture. But if you live here,
but there are some things you can't help.
Irrespective of the fact that even if I got married to a Nigerian now and we lived here, without doubt, they will take a lot from it.
Yeah, a lot of
Even me,
culture.
now,
Yeah,
I
you
spent all my childhood years in Nigeria.
Mm.
I cannot say I'm the same person.
Yeah, you
Okay.
dropped a lot of.
But I still think that when both parents are, from one side,
it's easier to.
of course you cannot get everything in, but to some started.
Yeah, well, I'm on that boat
yeah.
because of course, there's a lot of cultural things that I left behind, and there's things that I'm still instilling in my family till this day. And there's some that I picked up from here, which is always a good balance. But I believe we've been able to establish, some facts. But the question still remains, our audience. Help us and tell us let us know your opinion. What age? They're saying 18 is fine. I'm of the belief that 18 is way too. I don't think an African kid who's been under his parents his whole life at 18 is ready to migrate to another country and be independent. He's going to make a lot of mistakes financially, even in his own decision makings. So of course it might be good to learn from your mistakes, but I think this makes it a little bit longer. You take longer to be able to grow up as a man. So 18 for me, I don't think so. I traveled personally. I left my country at 16 and a half. So I'm not being hypocritical when I say 18 is low, because I understand the mistakes that comes with it. But we hope we've been able to touch on some of the important points today. I want to very especially thank my guest, Mr. Josh. Thank you very much, Josh. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you guys. Ejay'S podcast. Ejay'S podcast.